So I turned my bloodline to Chicago and gave them a vintage makeover look. Greetings! First off, I want to start by saying I know how crazy it is, and we have came a long way from actively finding ways to keep our sneakers fresh and clean, and now people are wanting to know how to speed up the aging process of their sneakers for that vintage look. I was confused at first. Why are people even asking how do you turn your sneakers yellow? Just wear them? But that's just how it is. There will always be trends and trends will always come and go. But yeah, for this moment as of now, people are starting to appreciate the worn-in looks of sneakers, and today I'll be showing you how to achieve that easily. So here are the things that you'll need. Most of them are optional and you don't really need them all to achieve the look you want, but I've included them and providing you with options so you can choose to do it the way you're really comfortable with. So the first step is to use a masking tape to protect your bottom sole and the upper ladder. I've seen people with hands steady enough to not use these tapes, so it's up to you. But if you're clumsy like me, definitely tape them. So step number 2, we'll start working on aging or yellowing the sneakers. This is option 1. You don't really need to buy anything fancy like Angelus paints or things like that. Just work with what the nature provides. I literally just went downstairs and out to the street to get some of these muds, dirt, soil, or whatever you call them. Next, get some cotton bud, or you can even use your fingers to just smear them all over your sole and on the upper as well. If you want a proper scuff look, apply the muds into a small piece of sandpaper and proceed to rub it against the leather upper. Next up, we have option 2, which requires some acrylic paint. I'm using paints from Angelus, and what you want to do is to decide on the tone of the color your sole wants to be. I recommend using Play in the Sand if you want to start painting right off the bat without adjusting the colors, or you can use champagne and mix it with white until you can find a tone which satisfies you. I like the natural creamy edge look that can be achieved by mixing the champagne and white. Once the paint is ready, you can proceed to paint the midsole. You'll want to paint it in 3 to 5 layers depending on your preference, and make sure you wait for them to dry for 10 to 15 minutes between each layer. You can also speed up the process if you have a heat gun, otherwise you can just dry it normally. Similar with the previous option, instead of applying the mud into the sandpaper, I will apply the Angelus paint on the sandpaper instead and start sanding random areas for that worn-in vintage look. Step number 3 is optional. I want to enhance the vintage look and make it as authentic as possible, so I'll be using a Tamiya weathering kit to add different shades of orangey red to some parts of the sneaker. There are also various other brands for these weathering pigments or powder, so you don't necessarily have to use the one that I used in this video, which is the Tamiya weathering kit. finally, the last step is to age the shoelace as well. For option 1, again, you don't need any fancy tools. We'll be utilizing what we already have at home, and for this case, we'll be using a normal kettle, a bowl, a couple of black tea bags. First, you want to boil some water and then pour them into the bowl and dip the 2 tea bags for 20 to 30 minutes. After that, proceed to dip your white shoelaces into the bowl of black tea for another 20 to 30 minutes, and that's pretty much it. Option 2 is to use the Angelus paint, and again, you want to make sure you're mixing the color to the correct tone that you want. I screwed up here by not mixing enough of white, but it's fine because my tea dip one turned out to be perfect. You'll also want to add the same amount of ratio of the GAC 900, which is a fabric medium that you have to heat set to make the shoelaces soft once it is dry. And that's pretty much it. So let's have a look at the laces. The first one on the left and the middle one is both done with the tea method. The first one is darker and more brown because I used more water when I was dipping them. And the second one is more creamy and has a more red look to it because I reduced the amount of water, thus making it more concentrated from the black tea. I ended up liking the second shoelace the most. And like I mentioned earlier, I screwed up by not mixing enough of white when I was mixing the Angelus paints, and the third shoelace was darker than what I intended to achieve. Thank you for staying until the end of my video. Feel free to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you think my content is worth your time. I want to say that there is no right or wrong way to do this. If you really love your sneakers, just wear them regularly and I guarantee you they will age the same way after a couple of months or years, depending on how frequent you wear them. Or if you like this specific look and don't have the time to spare, you can also age them intentionally like this. Some people love wearing raw denim and achieving fades and natural distressing over the years, while some people might love buying pre-made rip and distressed design. It's the same with the sneakers over here, so it's totally fine if you want to wear them and yellow them the natural way, or if you want to intentionally age it, it's fine as well. So it's all peace and love, stay safe and have a nice day.